Martin Amaewhule-led River State House of Assembly has taken steps to address the disturbances that occurred on October 7, 2024 in some local government council secretariats. During its 70th legislative sitting of the second session on Monday, the House Committee on Public Complaints and Petitions, led by its chairman, Enemy George, presented an interim report on the disturbances and appealed for more time to conclude their assignment and was granted the House. In a related development, the lawmakers said they had taken a major step towards strengthening democratic institutions in the state with the second reading of the River State Commissions of Inquiry Bill 2024. The bill seeks to repeal the Commissions of Inquiry Law 30, Laws of River State 1999, and reenact the River State Commissions of Inquiry Law. The lawmaker representing Omoma constituency, Sylvanus Nwankwo, led the debate on the bill, emphasizing the need for the reenactment of the Commissions of Inquiry Law to reflect current democratic realities. The Speaker, Amaewhule, commented on the bill, stating that it seeks to ensure a tripartite engagement between the governor, the assembly, and the commissions to be set up, which will prevent the abuse of power by any individual. The bill was subsequently committed to the House Committee on Judiciary for further legislative scrutiny. Let me start with you, Chizi. What do you make of this story?
Well, first, the lawmakers, I want to commend them, for coming in for such a time as this. But I will also tell you that I want them to be objective in their inquiries, because one is to go and inquire, another is to advise the executive to be able to execute whatever that they inquiry, because they do not have that powers to execute whatever inquiries they have made. But it is a good thing because they represent the people on the one hand. And then on the issue of the Commission of Inquiry, the Commission of Inquiry, they want to set up. The Speaker have said, well, that they want to have a tripartite arrangement wherein, both the executives and legislatures and judiciary will have, the commission will begin to run so that nobody is... but for me, that is actually what democracy is. You don't need to re-emphasize that. The reason we have the legislature is so that they can call to order whatever. The judiciary is to interpret, the executive is there to execute whatever that happens. Of course, for me, that is, except that it's not captured in the previous one, because that's actually what is supposed to happen, that they have their oversight function, to be able to monitor whatever parastatal MDAs there are in the state, as in our instance. Of course, at the federal level, the same thing happens to the National Assembly. They have an oversight function, and then wherein they will look at what the every commission or MDAs are doing and then know what to do. Also, the laws are there. The legislators are there to bring in new law, to look at old laws and see how it meets up with the current times. And that's why we have legislators. So I think they're just doing their work. But I want to say that they should do it not as party members, but as Rivers people representing the Rivers people.
Now, one would wonder, why was this not done before now? Because this is on the heels of the governor setting up a judicial panel of inquiry to investigate the events that occurred on October 7 in certain local government council areas.
Yes, you see, I will both tell you that one of the things that have faulted our legislators, especially both national and here, is the lack of research on certain things. If not, maybe the lacuna you have found now would have been found earlier. But again, we are human beings, and sometimes something causes another thing. There's a cause and effect on certain things. When you bring up something and they begin to know that, oh no, if you begin to implement this thing the way it takes, there might be certain manipulations, all of that, and so the legislators can come and say, there are issues that will come, and that's why we're human beings. Of course, you know that in the recent past, there was a time the National Assembly brought in what we call the doctrine of necessity. It weren't there. Sometimes implementations of issues will bring out another law, and so they could say, okay, this can remind us that no, this thing is not meeting up with the present reality. So let's see. But until those things are implemented, sometimes you won't see it. But I also say that if you have a research that will begin to go through the laws and see whether the law meets up to today's distance. So I think they should be more proactive than reactionary.
Because apparently this move
is purely reactionary.
To be reactionary. And one would say, okay, now they are trying to whittle down the powers of the governor.
Yes, yes.
You know, let me come to you, Daniel. What do you make of this move by the Rivers State House of Assembly to repeal the Commission of Inquiry law?
Yes, first, do they have the locals standing to do what they are doing? Yes. They are members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. But you would ask that question in quote, what is motivating what they are doing? Is it for revenge? Is it to score political points? What exactly? You should be able to say, these are the datas from the previous inquiries that were had that had not seen the light of the day. These were where we think that mistakes has been done. And then you even call for open and public to join. People who have something to present to come before you. It is not something you just do a round off and you say you send to the governor. For example, if the governor refuses to append the signature to it, you recall it and you are passed. No. We must be able to interrogate what is happening. As far as I'm concerned, personal opinion here, is that this is motivated by political scores. And you are saying that you want to make it a tripartite. What tripartite?
Meaning that the assembly will have a say,
yes.
The executive will have a say, and
yes.
the commission.
What commission? Well. Who appoints that commission?
The executive, of course.
And so what say does...
Screened and
by
the legislature.
See. It's like saying that let's have another body after the House of Assembly has done its own duty. And let's have another body that will also rely on. No. Whoever that the governor appoints and all still goes back to the legislatures.
What if the legislature fails to approve of the person's appointment?
See,
the governor overrides the decision of the legislature?
See, democracy has been created in such a way that one person does not have the final say on all things. Even in an emergency case, certain powers were given to the executive with a time bound on it. It doesn't say gives you an infinity powers and continue. No. I'm saying that it's like saying INEC. The executive appoints INEC. Whether the independence you call INEC or the executive appoints them. And when it comes to the issue, it goes to the National Assembly. They themselves now try to ask questions, do all those kind of things before they give the final approval. And I think that the tripartite thing cannot work.
Right.
The governor's own is to appoint those persons who they feel, in quote, are to be persons of unquestionable characters to fill in some of these things. And I think the assembly should do its work. But making that the people that the executive now appoint, they now have such a power as to what we now call tripartite. Tripartite where would those people share power? Who? It is the executive that will still gazette anything they do. So what power are you now giving to the people that the executive appoints? Whatever thing they do, they are going to submit it to the executive. So what power are you giving to them? Other than the power that is vested on the inquiry team. What power, what else that you want to now make it as a tripartite? As a tripartite what? What they are I think they are doing here is to say that they has their own work to do, the governor has his own work to do, and they also cannot relate. That's the meaning. They also cannot relate with the person so appointed to head some of this inquiry. And I think it is not so. That inquiry should report back to the executive, which is the governor or any other persons that is supposed to take care of that. But to now say that you are going to create a tripartite team where you are sharing the power of the executive? How? The executive is to appoint. Yours is to check these persons and whether you can reject these persons and return back to the executive. But to now say that there will be a tripartite, no, it will not work. And I think
why you say it will not work? Let me.
You want to share the power of the executive.
Hold on. The legislature makes the law.
Yeah, sure.
For the state.
He makes the law.
Does the legislature...
But it doesn't rest there. There is a caveat. It doesn't rest there. It doesn't mean that because you a bill and all of that, and so the law has been made. No. Democracy is not so. He said return back to the executive. The executive go through it and all, and so okay, we are not comfortable with this. This has a contradiction with the 1999 Constitution and all of that, and he returns back. That is how the marriage is supposed to be. But to now say that part of what the governor would appoint, and you will not share tripartite what to that person?
Now, I think to a large extent, they have not streamlined it
What's
to reportage. Like, after the inquiry is done, they are going to report to the legislature, the governor. Let's get it clear.
No.
Hold on.
Okay.
What they are saying so far, for now, the extent that has been revealed is that these powers to appoint a commission of inquiry will be tripartite, meaning that it will not now solely be at the behest of the governor to appoint the commission of inquiry. So now the House of Assembly, the State House of Assembly, will have, to a large extent, an influence on whoever becomes a member of that panel of inquiry, as well as the commission. So now, like you said earlier, when you said it will not work, that was why I asked you, who appoints? The governor appoints. Who approves the appointments? It is the House of Assembly. Whatever agency, whatever appointment that is going to be made in the states, the House of Assembly has to screen and approve. And in an event, you know, the House of Assembly turns down the appointment of, or the appointee of a governor after screening the person. Would the governor go ahead to override the House of Assembly? You said no. So in this instance, like you said earlier, when in your opening speech, do they have the right to make laws? The answer is yes. Now you're questioning the motive behind this move that they have made. Chizzy, on the other hand, has said it is reactionary and not proactive, right? Okay, Chizzy, you want to say something?
Yes. You see, maybe they may have used words like tripartite, you know, which may look to me like it's a repetition of what their rights are already. For instance, when they say there's a tripartite arrangement, appointing commissioners, look at what I understand by that. The governor nominates commissioners and sends the list to the assembly. You see the functions of tripartite? And then the assembly approves them, and then the governor inaugurates them. And the assembly also do have an override oversight function, where they go to monitor what you are doing, whether it's in line, and then come back. For me, that's tripartite enough.
Okay.
Now, maybe what they are saying in this instance is that it's unlike the commission of inquiry. In the commission of inquiry, the members do not go through the assembly. It is always
the governor at the discretion of the governor.
Discretion of the governor.
Right.
I think that's what they are saying. Because, for instance, if you look at all the appointments, like what Daniel was saying, what I hold is that we shouldn't always be reactionary in things. We should seek them. Like he has mentioned something. This should be open to public debate so we can begin to question certain things. And maybe some of us will attend there and say, no, this is what they're doing, this is not what they're doing. Maybe what they're saying is, how come that if you notice all the commission of inquiries, all the commission of inquiries have been appointed on exigency, based on emergency. Something just happened, then you appoint somebody. Maybe there should be a commission. That's what they're trying to do. There should be a commission wherein you don't need to appoint. The commissions are already there. Just like we have the court, just like we have other things that deals with certain issues. And so if that commission is going to be there, the tripartite should be, we are just suspecting, that's the word they use, should be that, the governor will submit the names of those people and nominate those to the legislature, and the assembly will
have to vet them.
And after vetting them, they are inaugurated as this thing. And so, as soon as they are inaugurated, now they now have oversight functions the same way governor gives them directives and all of that. As soon as something happens, you are no longer going to look for a new members of ranks to just quickly nominate for a commission.
And that will also empower them to actually summon the commission.
The commission, yeah.
To come and answer them. They can actually probe the commission.
Probe the commission. The same way they would have done to any ministry. If that is what the tribal, the only thing I hold is, in trying to get this law, first, there should be in haste. Because you see, one thing about law is, if you are doing it, I'm just all suspicion. If you are doing it to stop the other commission of inquiry, laws are not retrospective. because loss and retrospective, they're already there. So they whatever...
It will take effect from the future.
From the future, it's not now. So there's no need to be in a rush. Secondly, they should subject it to the public debate so the public can come, open. Of course, that is part of legislative work, to allow their law, especially when the laws are coming new, to allow people to come in, individuals like us, those of us who are ordinary men, to come and say, this is what we think should happen, and this is what it should allow us, because you are making a law for us. Everything, let me tell you, all the MDAs, whatever be the agencies of government, are located within the framework of the executive, legislators, and judiciary. These are the things. So some of them goes to this place, the other person goes to this place. Are you also bringing in the judiciary to see how they can nominate maybe past judges or all of that, to be able to do that, so that it may have the status of like the ICPC, the status of the ESCC
in the
state. If that is
probably have the tenure as well.
If that is fantastic, so that the nomination of this person is not because governor or any governor, But again, one thing about us here, I've said it in time past. You remember there was a governor, I don't want to mention him, that a minister brought us something and said, look, let's save certain amount of money for the nation because there's going to be certain crisis in the future. And the governor led other governors and said, no, we'll not. Let's bring it, let's share. And then just after that, the governor became something at the federal, and then they wanted also to do the same thing. So when we are making laws, it may just come around. We shouldn't have given an instance here where a GMD or something, GMD of an NMPC, a GMD of an MNPC, because he was so close to the president, did a memo that almost took the office of the duties of the Minister for State.
And later was appointed.
And then later, at that office there, he was not appointed, and then he was looking for that duty and couldn't see. So we should also look beyond the person that occupies the place and do the right thing.